Hey guys, check out Italian Wine Unplugged 2.0, brought to you by Mama Jumbo Shrimp, a fully updated second edition, reviewed and revised by an expert panel of certified Italian wine ambassadors from across the globe. The book also includes an edition by Professore Attilio Scienza, Italy's leading vine geneticist. To pick up a copy today, just head to Amazon.com or visit us at mamajumboshrimp.com. Welcome to this special Italian wine podcast broadcast. This episode is a recording off Clubhouse, the popular drop-in audio chat. This Clubhouse session was taken from the Wine Business Club and Italian Wine Club. Listen in as wine lovers and experts alike engage in some great conversation on a range of topics in wine. If you enjoy listening, please consider donating through ItalianWinepodcast.com. Any amount helps cover equipment, production, and publication costs. And remember to subscribe and rate our show wherever you tune in. Welcome to Clubhouse Ambassadors Corner. My name is Joy Livingston, and I'm standing in for Stevie Kim. And Stevie and Laika are in Montefalco right now, and their internet connection is a bit funny, I think, or they're in a winery with lots of echo. But nonetheless, I'm taking over tonight, and tonight we have Fanny Breuil, who will be interviewing Elena Pantaleoni. So Fanny is from Angers in the Loire and has always been into wine, and she studied agronomy, engineering, and enology. Worked as a winemaker in France, Italy, and Chile, and then as a salesperson for a wine importer in the USA. And in 2008, she founded her company, Genuine Wines, with a deep willingness to help wine growers located in lesser known or underappreciated wine regions. But that had great potential, and she started with the Jura and Emilia Romagna, and since then she's been helping them with their export markets as part of a team. And aside from her main activities within export, she also has a small Italian wine importing venture in France, and she also works on Labadens, a wine project. She makes wines along with Thomas Oui, a fellow wine lover. So, Fanny, that was a lot of words that I may have mispronounced. But how are you doing today?
Thank you, Joy. I'm doing very well. Hi, everyone. You didn't mispronounce anything. Actually, you did a very good job for all French words.
Thank you. So I guess before I basically stop talking, I should ask you why you chose Elena Pantaleoni to interview tonight.
So for many reasons, mostly because I think Elena is a person who knows how to pave her own road and to trust her own beliefs. This is how she led the estate into organic farming and working without any chemical additions very early on, at a time where no one was talking about natural wines. And she continued the work of her father, who always wanted to produce quality wines. In Emilia Romagna, you can't rely on the reputation of the appellation to sell your wines. Instead, you have to prove that your wines are of quality, because the region is unfortunately well known for quality. So there's lots of works, lots of fairs, lots of people to meet to taste your wines. And above all, you have to know how to keep your focus. And today, I know she inspires many winemakers, and I'm very happy to spend this hour in her company to discuss the wines and introduce her to people who are not yet acquainted with Elena and La Stoppa.
That's great. So on the geekier side, is there any specific points that you really want the audience who's, to take home with them after the conversation today?
First, the importance given to the autochthonous grapes variety in this small Colli Piacentini region, which has always been an important topic for many of us. Also, an introduction to the wines produced from the white grapes in this region, which are vinified whole cluster at La Stoppa with a full skin maceration, and also for the importance of craftsmanship in the production of unique wines, far from standardization. And this has always been Elena's focus. And I think this is really important today, to be away from standardization. This is a topic that will never be so important than now.
That's great. So I guess without further ado then, I should mention that this conversation is going to be replayed on the Italian Wine Podcast in a couple weeks. And at the end, I will come back after your conversation and find out if there's any questions for either of you. Elena, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Perfect. Okay, so I guess I will just stop talking now, and I'll talk to you guys after.
Thank you, Joy. Hi, everyone. Let me introduce you Elena Pantaleoni, and I will share with you shortly her bio. Elena was born in Piacenza in 1965. She's native from Colli Piacentini, where she makes wine today. She's the last of 3 siblings, and she has a brother and sister. She first started working with books and music and had her own store in Piacenza. In 1991, Elena Pantaleoni took over the family estate La Stoppa, located in Rivergaro on the first slopes of the Apennine mountain, and worked accompanied by Giulio Armani. The domain extends over 58 hectares, of which 30 are planted to vines, and the remaining 28 are left to nature. La Stoppa was bought by her family in 1973, and before was run by a lawyer named Giancarlo Ageno, who discovered the place to be apt for winemaking and started the production of wine with significant and curious names such as Bordeaux, B-O-R-D-O, or Pinot, P-I-N-O. Since the mid-90s, La Stoppa decided to mainly cultivate the grapes, Barbera and Bonarda for reds, Malvasia di Candia aromatica, Ortrugo and Trebbiano for the whites. All focus and the vineyard is made according to organic methods, certified by Swallow and Salute. In the cellar, wood aging of the wine allows the wine to breathe and mature slowly. This is a necessary practice for the wine of La Stoppa, which are made from grape grown in a hot and dry climate. And bottle aging is also a very important process to improve and balance every element of the wine. At La Stoppa, production is made with no desire to follow trends. In 2014, Elena was one of the 4 producers in the movie of Jonathan Nossiter, La Résistance Naturelle. And it is without question that Elena Pantaleoni is an inspiring woman for many winemakers, especially those making artisan wines. She is also very supportive to the winegrowers in her region and spreading the words about wine from Colli Piacentini and their specificity. Ciao, Elena.
Ciao, thank you. Thank you for this introduction. You know me well.
So let's start the interview. The general question to start. Can you introduce us La Stoppa, the location, where is it, and the specificity of your wine region?
Yes, so La Stoppa, as you mentioned, is on Colli Piacentini area. So Piacenza is between Milano and Parma. So is the northern and the western province of Emilia Romagna, very close to Lombardy and to Piedmont. That's why our main varieties are Barbera and Bonarda. And for example, we don't plant Lambrusco in our area, which is the main variety for the rest of Emilia. And all the area is about 5,000 hectares of vines only on the hills. So potentially quality production because the yields are lower. And we are on the first hills at about 250 meters on the sea level on very red clay, so very rich in iron, very poor in nitrogen. So that's why we make these long aging wines mainly.
What made you decide to take over the domain in 1991?
Fortunately, because my father passed away and my mother at that time asked me to try to help her and to give an opportunity to myself and to my family to take over something that wasn't really my dream or my goal, to have a winery, but mostly my father. Vision and my father dream. And so at that time I was 26 and I said to myself, yes, I can do it. And so I came in a very, I would say, humble way because the estate was already established and there were people working here. So you mentioned Giulio that is still working with me. He started in 1980, so he was here already. And I gave myself an opportunity too, to make this job and to find the way to make this job more closer to me, because as you mentioned, I had a bookshop. This is my other passion, reading and books. And so it was, I would say it was a sad opportunity. It was a sad moment, no, because my father passed away. So, but at the end, it was a good reason, a good thing. At the end, I have to say that I wasn't born with wine as a passion. No? So this was something that came along in time.
In the 1980s, at La Stoppa, there were parcels of traditional French grapes, Chardonnay or Sauvignon, Cabernet Sauvignon. Can you explain what made you change the vineyard's grape variety from French to local grapes?
After a few years I was here, we were making Pinot Noir, we were making Sauvignon Blanc, and then I said we have to work on identity. I always asked in the past and also now, I always ask myself why people come here to buy the wines, why we can sell our wines all over the world. Because this is not a very known appellation. And so to make Sauvignon Blanc or to make Pinot Noir, I thought that even if it was very good, it was always a copy of something that was already done from others. And so I didn't want to make a copy, even a beautiful copy. So I thought it was better to make something with more identity and working with more local varieties, such as Barbera and Bonarda and Malvasia mainly, that are very suitable for this climate, for this type of soil, to give more personality and identity to the wines and to the estate. That was the reason. So I started in 96 to replant. So every year, 1 hectare, 2 hectares. We started from Pinot Noir, from Sauvignon, and then also Cabernet. And yes.
I think above all, you wanted to produce wines that really reflect the area, the terroir from which the grapes are from. Can you tell us more, how do you work in the vineyard and how do you work in the salon?
Yes, so we are certified organic since a long time. As I mentioned before, the soil is very rich in iron, very poor in nitrogen. So climate, talking about climate now is kind of a tricky thing, but usually here is quite dry and windy. And so during all these years, we thought that long aging wines with structure were the more suitable for this type of place. And so we work very few in the vineyard. So we just cut the grass and we make a very superficial work of the soil, and we work mainly by hand. So we make some treatments with copper and sulfur, of course, with the tractor. All the rest is made by hand, pruning and harvesting, of course. And then in the cellar, we make spontaneous fermentation. We don't use sulfites during vinification. So we want to preserve the characteristic of the place and, of course, also of the vintage. So we change every vintage according to the quality of the grapes, the time of skin contact or the type of working. We use mainly inox tanks for the fermentation and the maceration. We have some concrete tanks too, and then big barrels in wood for the aging for most of our wines. So we are very respectful, and we try to preserve the characteristic of the place and of the vintage in every wine and every vintage.
From a more general point of view, you are very sensitive to craftsmanship, and this guides choices for collaboration with suppliers in the wine world and even beyond. How do you see this word of craftsmanship today, and does it have a sufficient place?
Talking especially of Italy, the strength of Italy is all these small artisans in any field. That really is, I think, the strongest point of our country. And I'm also an artisan, so I prefer to give my money to someone like me that works very good way in terms of quality, in terms of passion. And it's a small thing, but I always say we have very, very few freedom, but for sure we are free to choose every day how to spend our money and how to spend our time. And so I prefer to spend my money with artisans instead of industry. And in a way, I think I support this type of companies. I don't think they have sufficient place in our time, the work of craftsmanship. But I like to to be one of the few maybe that support them. I like to deal with them also, because if there is a problem in any field or in a machine or wherever, I can talk directly to the people who make this tool or whatever, or a bottling machine or a pump, and so it's a more interesting conversation, I think, with these people. Yes.
Yes, true. Back to the wine. La Stoppa produces many red wines from Barbera and Bonarda. We talked about it just previously. Can you describe the wine range you produce at the domain?
Yes, so we make an entry-level wine called Trebbiolo, which is also Barbera and Bonarda, from young vines or from the lowest part of the vineyards. In the vineyards that have berries that are bigger, so there is a different relationship between skin and juice, and so they are more suitable to make this type of fresh and easy drinking wine that make no aging in wood, just inox. And so we release the wine more or less 1 year after the harvest. And this is the entry-level wine, Trebbiolo. And then we have Macchiona, which we think is the most representative wine of our estate. So also Barbera and Bonarda, usually is 50-50. And this is the selection from all vines from the upper part of the vineyard, so where the berries are smaller. And we make about 1 month on the skins. They are not co-fermented because Barbera ripes before Bonarda, so at about 10-15 days before. And then we make the blending, and it's a very long aging wine in big barrels. So these wines could be Gutturno, which is the oldest DOC of our area. We are out of the DOC because we chose like this for many reasons, but these are very traditional wine. We stopped making sparkling wines in the 2014, so we are just making still wines. And so with Barbera and Bonarda together, we make these two wines. And then we make a Barbera 100% called the Campo Romano, and it's vinified like Macchiona, so a long maceration, about 40 days, and then a long aging in barrel. And these are the three wines that we make out of Barbera and Bonarda grapes.
There is not only white grapes, there are also whites. And one of the grape is Malvasia di Candia Aromatica or Trugo, so very local grape. What's the specificity of these grapes and what type of wine do you produce? Let's talk about Malvasia di Candia Aromatica. We know there are different Malvasia. Yours is the specific Malvasia di Candia Aromatica.
Our Malvasia is among the most aromatic ones, so it's very close to Moscato, that maybe is more known, as a quite big cluster, and it's quite productive, has a very thick skin, but the specificity of the grape is really this aromaticity. It's really very fruity, very interesting grapes. And also is very, in a way, is rustic. It doesn't suffer too much of rain or bad conditions, so it's very resistant. And in Italy, yes, I think there are like 16 different types of grapes, all called Malvasia. There are also some red Malvasia, some not non-aromatic, but this one is mainly cultivated in Piacenza, in Parma, and more or less this is the source of this variety. And we make two wines out of this grape. One is a Geno, that is our dry white wine. We only make one dry white wine, and it's with very long skin contact maceration, about 3-4 months. And the percentage of Trebbiolo and Ortrugo now is very low because we planted more Malvasia, so now it's mainly 90% and 95% Malvasia. And we have been making this wine since 2002, so it's 20 years that we have been making it. We stopped making the Sauvignon Blanc in 95, and then we were without any dry white wine for 7 years. And we were thinking that if we wanted to make a wine that really reflects the place, why changing the vinification according to the color of the grapes? So probably in this area, it's more suitable. It's better to make a wine also with white grapes as a red, with long skin contact maceration. And the Geno is the name of the founder of the estate. So it was like an homage to the first person who really gave value to this place. And then we make passito. So we lay the grapes outside in the sun in order to concentrate the sugar. And we make, now it's called Vino del Volta, and it's a Malvasia Passita, so a dessert wine, sweet wine. These are the two wines that we make with Malvasia.
Just about the sweet Malvasia, here we just talked before how much this is important to make wine, taking care of the environment. And here, this is a great example, right? You have a warm and dry after season, and to produce the sweet wine.
Yes, of course, the quantity of sugar raised. We have been making this wine since 95. So at the beginning, for sure, the wine was less sweet. Now is sweeter, but still has a good balance among acidity, among freshness and sweetness. Yes.
Italian Wine Podcast, part of the Mama Jumbo Shrimp family.
I agree. I have always heard you saying that the wines need time. The wines made at La Stopa, they need time to develop their full expression, their complexity, their potential. What are the vintage available today? And do you still have a reserve wine that you continue selling?
Our current release of Barbera, of Campo Romano, for example, is 12. So we haven't made all the vintages, but we still have a lot of vintages after 12. And of Macchiona, we go back until 2002. We don't have all the vintages, but we have 2002, 6, 9, 10, and 12 on sale. And we just released 14 just in Magnum because it was a very difficult vintage, a lot of rain, so we could make just few liters. So we decided to make just Magnum. So the only reason we can have all the wines to sell is that we produced more that we usually sell. And this is the only way to keep some bottles. And for us, it's very important to have all the wines on sale to show that the aging potential that these wines have. And also because this region is most known for very easy and young wines, but it's not just that. We can make very, very long aging wines also in Emilia.
And does it mean that the vintage are ready one after another, or can you, or it doesn't matter if you can switch from vintage 12 and then 14 or back to 9?
Yes. We, for example, in the case of talking about Macchiona, we released before 13 and then afterwards 12 because every vintage has a different profile, and so there are vintages that are ready before, there are vintages that need more time, and so we have this freedom, in order to give a better wine for our clients. We decide to keep some vintages longer and some others to release before.
And do you feel the customers realize the luck to play like this with different vintages? How is it welcome to the market?
But it depends on the markets. It depends on the people. Of course, it's a challenge always. A good part, a big part of my time and my is also to choose the right client for this type of wines. We don't make millions of bottles. It's very important to choose the right clients that really can appreciate what we do, and when they trust us also, and they follow us also on this changing of vintages, and so it's just a question of wine, and I give you the wine when it's ready and when it's good to be drunk. So of course Trebbiolo is a different story. Trebbiolo is the entry-level wine. We release 21. Now we are selling 21. In few months we will release 22, and this is more normal, I would say. But the other wines, no, people like also that. And also Ageno we released before 17, and then we released 19 and 16 together, and then we released 18, and now we release 20. And it's people understand.
So a vintage is a little like the witness of a moment, no, a year. How was the climate all along the season? Having still the 2012 reminds you how was the vintage. Do you see changes more recently with the more recent vintage, or not that much?
Yes, we see things change very fast. So, for example, in the last 4 vintages, 19, 20, 21, and 22, we had surprisingly more production. The wines are lighter in a way, and we had generally speaking, no, in terms of wine, we have fresher wine. So we had rains in the good period, not much, but we had rain. We had cooler periods too. And what has changed is that really the seasons are not so as before, no? So spring was rain and cool weather, and then summer, and then now it can rain in summer, it can be very warm in springtime. So it has changed in terms of we have a lot of rain all in once, no? Can be also. And if you work with nature, you have also to accept that things change, and also accept that you have to adapt yourself to the place where you are, and to the conditions that you can't control. And the wines will be the result of these changements. And this is the way you have to deal with nature. Otherwise, it's better to change job, because you can't control a lot of things when you make wine.
All the risks to take along the winemakings. So without ever positioning yourself as a leader, you are, along with friends of yours, I'm thinking of Elisabetta Foradori or Giusto Chipinti, you are mentor to many winemakers who work also, who makes also artisanal wines. Where do you find the inspiration to move forward?
No, I think I still enjoy a lot my life, because, after a while you don't consider your job just a job. This job is our life, and it gave me so much, and still gives me much in terms of satisfaction and passion and good people around. I believe that we can do some changes. I believe in every person who can of the power of each single person, and I am lucky to be. I have a lot of young people around me, and that works with me or that follow us, and to see these young people so serious on environment, on this idea of the community, and also to see that a different way of making money, in a way, to make a company is possible, in putting ethic, putting respect as a goal, and anyway, these estates can be profitable without thinking all the time at money. I don't know if I can explain well what I'm thinking. So this gives me the inspiration and the strength to go forward and to follow with our ideas, with our wines, and to use our bottles as a media, to talk about the choices that we took, and of course how privileged, how lucky we are, to work in nature, to live in beautiful places, and to have people listening to us also. And so it's also
like tonight.
Yes, it's also a big responsibility, but makes we only make wine with consciousness and with passion, and we try to be serious. And this is something that we can share with a lot of people. And if we can also be like an example of making a good company with good people around, respecting the people, respecting the place, the soil, the environment, it's a lot. So it's something that still inspires me. Yes, my job and the people I have around.
Merci, Elena. I think this is good words. I'm arriving almost to the end of my question, but if any of the audience, if you have a question, you can use the chat. Don't hesitate. It's going a little outside of Italy, but you also do wines in Chile,
Yes.
also from local grapes, from Chilean local grapes. So, does it making wines outside of Italy, does it help you also understanding more what you do in Italy? Is it helpful to have different experience? It's twice harvest a year. It's good to train. Is it a plus for you to continue understanding more where you are and where you live?
Yes, for sure. What helped us helped me, is to be open and curious and taste a lot of wines and visit a lot of places where people make wine. And this helps a lot to open your mind and to focus more on identity. So also Chile, Chile is such an amazing place because it's the only place in the world where I saw thousands and thousands of hectares of plants without how do you say pergref, without rootstock. No, how do you say?
Oui. See, the rootstock. That's This is where this is the word.
Pergref, pertinent. And so, and they have like 200, 300 years old plants of Pais, of Moscatel d'Alexandria, of, they don't have any autochthon varieties, but the Spanish people, the conquerors went there and like 500 years ago. And then you see all these Cabernet Sauvignon from Chile or Chardonnay or Sauvignon, and they have such a treasure, so full of identity and full of tradition, and it's a very like farming. It's part of the life of the people, this type of wine that you drink during parties and so, of course, yes, every travel, every experience is always very enriching. Yes, sì. It's a tough organization to have two harvests in 1 year and so far away, but it's interesting, yes.
Busy person. Thank you very much, Elena, for your time. I was very happy to share with everyone your experience and also this pioneer position, being in a lesser known region and doing wines of high quality, far from the usual and what's easy now. Keeping the wine so long time, aging, not being afraid of selling 2002. I'm very admirative, and I think this is really a chance for our wine world.
No, thank you so much. Thank you for this opportunity, Fanny. And if I can add something, Fanny came to our estate in 99, 98 was.
99, yes.
She arrived here to make a stage, and from that moment we have always been friends. And also you, Fanny, was such a great experience to get to know you. And she was a very, very hard worker.
It was nice working in this great domain.
Thank you for this opportunity to you and to all of the people of this Italian wine community, and thank you for the people who are listening. Thank you so much.
Well, that was fantastic. I'm not sure there's any questions. I do have a question though, or two actually. I noticed on your website you have an eno-tourism thing going
Yes.
on. Do you guys grow a lot of your food on your property, and then you make it? What kind of things do you do for the eno-tourism? And like, you pair it with your wines, or?
Yes, so I think it's very important to leave to have our wineries open to visitors, and so we organized our team in order to have people that speak languages and can attend people that want to see where the wines are produced. We opened a restaurant, free lunches, free services a week, so Tuesday, Friday and Saturday, so you can come and visit, or you can come and visit and have a lunch. And we have added in the last years some other productions, such as the first were bees for the honey, and then we have a big vegetable garden, and we mainly cook our vegetables. And then in the last 2 years we added chicken and goose and duck, and so we have the eggs, and so this is also very important, because people come here and are ready to pay for the visit because we make wine, and to have this part more like farming part gives me the opportunity to talk about farming and to talk about how important is what we eat every single day, and also is something that we wanted to add to the production of wine. This is what we do.
So with the farming and the vineyards, and I could be wrong here. I'd heard last year there was quite an issue with water. Did you have any problems with water? And if you did, how did you deal with it?
Yes, but not on the vineyards by now. Hopefully, won't be in the future. Of course, with the vegetable garden, yes, it's more an issue. What we did, for example, we use a lot of things also to transform. For example, like the tomato sauce. So we had much less tomato sauce, but was very good. Of course, you have to choose. For the vegetables, you need water. We make less, and that's it.
But it
still
is tasty. Okay, no, I was just wondering, because I know that, last year it was really hot. So then a lot of people were complaining about the water. And so then, I'm assuming this year will be the same, but it seems like you already, it's fine. It's not a problem.
No, for the vineyards, I mean, we also planted 2 new vineyards last year. And yes, they are not really suffering at the moment. For the vines, for the rest, they are old, the roots are very deep. At the moment, no problem. But it's true that we produce very, very low. So we don't push too much the production. So
well, Fanny, Elena, I think this brings us to the end of our discussion. I see something. What does this say? Andre Batkeelan. Hi, Andre. Awesome.
Hi, Andre. He wants to say hello, and also from Francesco Pascucci, that you know very well. And he's tasting his wines right now.
Bene, thank you.
From far away, from Letonia.
So it's not a question, just a comment.
Yeah, I'm adding an important information. The Stopa is celebrating the 50 years this year. So Elena, she's not doing only one event. It's the festival for the whole year. And also she has organized in the domain different events. Once a month, you can meet, of course, you can taste La Stopa wines. It's the birthday party, but she also gathered with friends, other winemakers, and this is a very nice way that explains also how she's now, when I was saying supporting winegrowers, well, you can go and taste in April. It was with Piemonte producers, then there are from Sicily or Trento. So that's very nice, and happy birthday, Elena.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bon, à bientôt.
À
Ciao.
bientôt.
Okay, good night, you
Merci.
guys. Thank you so very
Ciao.
much, and thank you to
Thank you.
everybody who's listening. And there will be another Clubhouse, likely next Thursday, as we do this every Thursday. And thank you to everyone. Elena, Fanny, thank you for everything tonight. That was a great conversation.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Have a good night.
Bye.
You too.
Listen to the Italian Wine Podcast wherever you get your podcasts. We're on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Himalaya FM, and more. Don't forget to subscribe and rate the show. If you enjoy listening, please consider donating through ItalianWinePodcast.com. Any amount helps cover equipment, production, and publication costs. Until next time, cin cin.